What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Bleed Lows podcast. Our boys in blue will be at Camelback Ranch in a month's time. We have an official date for DodgerFest. And what will the final move be for our outfield? All that and more coming up next. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Anthony and I are your hosts tonight with producer Roger behind the scenes. Before we get into it all, we want to tell you about DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the LA Dodgers. It is your one stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, my friend?
It's been a rough 24 hours, I'll say that. Watched my team get absolutely humiliated on national television. Had to go to work and hear everyone's opinion about it. Luckily, like I texted last night, it's officially baseball season for me. So I'm
Nice.
just gonna pretend the football season didn't happen, and I'm officially moved on to Dodger baseball now at this point. But yeah, it's been a rough 24 hours, is a light way of putting it.
I'm glad you brought it up first because I was like, oh, do I ask? Do I not ask? I know it's probably been, like you said, a tough time because we get pretty attached to our teams. But yes, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you and your Steelers, but now you're
Yeah.
going to get a new coach. So this is a safe space. How do you feel about that?
For one, I actually will equate it to to the Dodgers at least. I love Mike Tomlin. He brought a Super Bowl. We went to two Super Bowls. Unfortunately, only won one of them. But I just felt it was time 5 years ago to kind of get a new voice in there. Sometimes I feel like it gets a little bit stale when you have the same voice over and over again. I love to bring up the example of Dave Roberts because kind of before he won and found all the success, a lot of people were kind of asking for the same thing, like, "Hey, we got to get him out of here, get him out of here." And I kind of was on that boat. Like I've said before, I didn't shy away. The the series we played against the Nationals kind of was like the straw that ultimately broke the camel's back for me. At least I'm like, nah, this is like, you can't do this, you can't lose to this team. And like, I made that wish that everyone says like, I don't want to see the Dodgers play baseball. Hey, guess what? I got my wish. COVID ended up happening a couple weeks later, or a couple months later, actually, and I almost didn't get a 2020 season. So I'm kind of glad that it went in reverse. But yeah, it's just been a roller coaster of feelings, mixed emotions. I hate that he had to step down, but I feel like this was also like the necessary part for us to kind of just move on. It was kind of like a changing of the guard, I want to say. He was kind of a team of his team of generation of players kind of all retired, and it kind of felt like this new era needs a new voice to kind of guide them in a direction where they can find success. I hate that, yeah, he ended up, well, he stepped down, but he did lose his job. But I felt like 20 years, it kind of gets to a point where you kind of do have to introduce a new voice. It's just it's been a while, but yeah, I'm excited for the future, and I'll say this because a lot of fans from these teams, I'm glad I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm glad I'm not a Raiders fan. I'm glad I'm not a fan of the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm glad I'm not a fan of the Miami Dolphins. Those are the fan bases specifically of friends and family who were laughing at my pain today and probably for the future. But hey, at least my Super Bowl, I have it in like DVD form in 4K. I don't have to like roll out a VHS tape to like watch highlights of when the last time my team played in it. So I'll leave it with that. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and we've got some Dodger championships in 4K in the recent past, and hopefully another soon to turn our
Yeah.
attention to. But that's what we'll focus on because some fun stuff was announced at Dodgerland today because we have been just kind of looking at our watches like, hey, is something going to happen? And we're seeing signs. We keep saying that every week, but it's getting a little closer, I think. One of the fun things today was the announcement of DodgerFest. So it's one of my favorite things. Last year was kind of a weird one, but this year, it's going to be back inside the stadium, and tickets are going to go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. It was announced on the Dodgers website today. You brought that to our attention today in our group chat, Anthony. And there's going to be paid experiences, although we don't know what those are yet, going on sale on January 21st. So if anyone wants to be a part of that, take a look this Friday at 10 a.m. and get yourselves ready. But does that kind of bring up a sense of excitement for you to say, yeah, we're around the corner from pitchers and catchers, and Dodger Fest is a sign of that?
Yeah, it's not just only the Dodgers, but like all the other teams are starting to announce their like promotion schedule and stuff like that. I saw the Orioles are having this Tupac bobblehead giveaway, and I thought it was like pretty cool. It's kind of like, yeah, like baseball is essentially here around the corner. We're just counting down the days until they're all in their respective camps, whether they're in Florida or in Arizona. And this was one of those steps. DodgerFest is kind of the unofficial kickoff of the season. It's kind of like, I think this year's it looks like it's going to be more of a pep rally. It's going to be a ticketed
Yeah.
event, but you're going to have a seat. So I don't know how that specifically works. Are you going to sell out the entire stadium? I don't think they're going to do the whole stadium. That's just a lot of people to manage and stuff like that. So I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out. I hope I'm there in attendance. I also would be my first time going to a Dodger Fest. I don't think it's ever lined up for me. I know last year was kind of weird because they were constructing all throughout the infield, so that's why it was kind of relegated to the parking lot. So I'm kind of interested to see where it goes from here. But yeah, I'm excited. This is kind of the unofficial like start to the baseball season for me at least.
I hope you do get to go. My plans right now are that I'm trying to block out that day and really want to see what they're going to do this year in regards to that seated event. That was a little bit of a, okay, we'll see how that goes. But kind of baseball related and ticket related as well. It's also announced that LA 28, the Olympics tickets are going on sale by the end of the month. And is that something that you're looking to kind of put yourself in line for?
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things. The Olympics. It doesn't happen often in your own home country, and it's going to be like one of those unique things. Like if it's not baseball, I am a fan of baseball. I would love to go see like other things like swimming, like track and field looks awesome. Like on TV, the experience, especially the 100-yard dash. I feel like that's kind of the most anticipated race. Like, yeah, who's the fastest human we have alive, basically. But it's one of those things where I hope a few of these guys are going to be playing in the Olympics. Like I wouldn't mind it. Like if you just block out the Olympics are like people think it's like a long thing, but realistically, it's only like 3 weeks. Like the Olympics are they come and they go before you even realize it. Like oh it's it, it's over. So I kind of hope that MLB kind of allows these guys to go and play. I'm not saying like the entirety of it. I'll give the example of because I'm a big soccer fan. In
Mhm.
soccer they have the Olympics as well too, but they only allow a certain amount of professional like top level guys go and participate. It's relegated to a under 22 tournament. So if you're under the age of 22, you can participate. But you're allowed three quote unquote senior guys to kind of go and join the team. So I kind of feel like if you were to do it for baseball, I kind of would like that idea, like kind of just keep it to like minor leaguers. I hate to say it, but like gives them an opportunity to kind of perform on the global stage and kind of introduce themselves as like, I use Zaire Hope. I'm Zaire Hope and I play for the Dodgers. This is my organization. I'm representing Team USA. And then you fill them in with like a few major leaguers. I wouldn't say like I'll use Team USA for an example. If like I don't know who's on Team USA right now. If Paul Skeens gets like permission to go and pitch for a week or two, kind of deal, like okay, like we're allowing you to go and participate in this. I think it'll be good for you exposure wise, and good exposure wise for the Pittsburgh Pirates, etc. So I don't know. It kind of is like I hope MLB is kind of smart and kind of just allows them for 2, 3 weeks. Again, the tournament's like it's pretty short, like it's pretty round robin, and before you know it, they're already in the elimination stage anyway. So these guys are probably only going to be pitching like once or twice throughout the duration of the
Right.
Olympics. So I wouldn't mind them having an extended All-Star break. I feel like it's a good marketing opportunity for these guys. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited for WBC. So it's a lot of good baseball stuff. Like it's best for baseball to help market these guys and kind of put them on that global stage.
It's actually a good way to approach it because that's going to be something that we haven't really had to kind of see before in the past and kind of how they would approach the Olympics and baseball in LA and all of it's converging into how, how exciting is it going to be for all of us to see something different. There's definitely a lot of sports that I'm a big fan of that I'm excited to go see. I'm actually a big tennis fan. I know that probably never said that on the show, but I get really intense about tennis. And I would never get to see all these tournaments, live unless they came here to LA. So I'm very excited for that and amongst other sports. So that's a big thing. But yeah, let's kind of turn our attention a little bit to I guess you could call them depth signings. I want your thoughts on that because it is I know we're all waiting for the big name drop, but there are some really cool names that kind of came in and out of, talk in the last several days. One of which is something that really caught my eye. Andy Ibanez from the Tigers is now signed to a 1 year deal with the Dodgers. 32-year-old righty, and one thing I like about him is that he seems to have positional versatility, which is a big thing for the Dodgers. Tell me your thoughts on him. He'll be with us for a year.
Yeah, I kind of figured he was kind of more of a depth piece when it first broke, 1.2 million. So it's one of those things where you kind of need another veteran guy around. Like you said, he's very versatile in multiple positions. So if a guy like Mookie needs a breather for a day, like, hey, Andy can play the spot. If a guy like Tommy Edman, if his ankle's bugging him, like, hey, he can play here as well too. So I kind of took it more as an organizational one. The one I was kind of interested when he's not with the Dodgers anymore because he got DFA'd literally after he got picked up a couple days ago was Ryan Fitzgerald, James
Right?
Outman's kind of
His twin,
doppelganger, if you want to say, or clone. He looks exactly like him, and it's kind of
literally.
funny to see the side by side. He's no longer with us. He got DFA'd, I think, a few hours ago, so we'll see where his journey goes from here. But I think at this point, the Dodgers are going to just kind of like sign depth pieces and see if any of these guys kind of hit their. This is the thing the Dodgers do. They kind of, I hate to say they use the term dumpster dive, but they kind of do dumpster dive. Look for veteran guys that know their role specifically, like, hey, you're going to come here, you're going to get a certain amount of at bats. You're not going to get guaranteed playing time, but like on a Sunday day game, like that might be your day for to go out there and you might get 9 innings. So this is
Mhm.
kind of the season for it right now. You're kind of just looking for guys that can fill holes, like plug holes. And we all know, I think it's kind of foregone conclusion as soon as the 40 man opens up, Kike is going to probably resign as well too. So we're kind of just waiting for like the logistics and stuff like for the 40 man to open up. So I don't see, I think it's more of a depth piece. I do think it's just nothing more than that.
Yeah, I think it's depth, but I also kind of find it interesting that there are names that have kind of come through our system that have ended up being like lightning strikes. With you've got Tommy Edman. I mean, obviously, like he was a big time player, but we were all kind of like, okay, Tommy Edman, but look at what he ended up being for us. Or someone like a Ben Wortvet, who was Ben Wortvet at the trade deadline. We kind of like, is this going to be something that we were going to see? And look how great he ended up. So I think we just need to trust that. These pieces are put in place, but we never know what they could mean for us later on. As long as we don't get another Michael
Yeah.
Conforto.
You
I
know
mean,
who came to mind right away? Chris Taylor. You remember who Chris Taylor was? Just this no one utility guy that we picked up for depth, basically.
yeah,
And look what he turned out to be. So yeah, there's a lot of guys that you can like think off the top of your mind. I know Austin Barnes was part of a trade as well too, but like no one knew who Austin Barnes was. Justin Turner, another guy that was just kind of like given a spring training invite, and look what he turned into. So
my God.
it could be a thing. Andy Ibanez could maybe make reach that ceiling, but he also could just play his role essentially being just a depth piece as well.
He could. He also has had experience playing the corner outfield spots, which I know has been kind of like a stickler for us. And we're kind of thinking, where will Teo end up? Will he still play right? Will who will play left? How's that going to work? And I think Cody in our group chat kind of floated something kind of interesting yesterday. I wanted to kind of see what you thought about it. But should all the pieces that are the big names right now not end up on the Dodgers, and we ended up with a Teo in right, a Pajes in center, and a Ryan Ward in left? Would that be a disappointment, or do you think we can make that work this season?
That's how I feel. I think initially it would be a disappointment considering the big names that are kind of out there in the free agent market. But I'm also kind of like interested to
Yeah.
see like if any of the young guys that we have in the system that are, I think they're going to start in AAA at least. Maybe one of them might go back down to AA. I want to see if they can prove that they can play at the big league level. What's the point of having prospects if you're not going to give them an opportunity to shine on the major league level, or at least figure out if they can play as well too? So, yeah, I think the initially I'd be disappointed, but then it's like if I'm sitting at Dodger Stadium and like I turn to the right and I see the big 24 and 25, I'd be reminded like we're back-to-back World Series champions. So is it really a
Right.
disappointment? Like, yeah, I'd be like slightly disappointed if we don't uh, have Tucker in the outfield, or if we don't have Bo Bichette out there roaming second base, or if if Hotel California is not blasting through the speakers again, I would be slightly disappointed. But at the same time, I'm going to put my faith in the front office. They know more than me. I trust them. They're back-to-back World Series champions. They've won three in the past 5 years, I guess. It's so I mean, at this point, it's just like I kind of just feel like let's play ball at this point. Like let's see if these guys are gonna be something at this big league level, or maybe like at the trade deadline we'll see like okay, we know we have a weakness here. Like let's target this guy here. So yeah, it might be a slight disappointment, but I also wouldn't be upset if we don't overpay these guys and like some of the demands they have is kind of like lunacy in my mind.
I mean, you never know. There, as of right now, we're filming this on what is it, Tuesday? Um, yeah, there's nothing that is concrete yet. We keep hearing about the Bichette, we keep hearing about the Bellinger, we keep hearing about Tucker, but they haven't put pen to paper yet. which always means that the Dodgers are lurking for, the Andrew Friedman special, the, high AAV short-term deal, which you could hear as soon as tomorrow. That pass and bomb that we see every now and then. I still have a feeling something's coming through the pipeline for the Dodgers, but some interesting notes. We'll just kind of start with the big name on the big fish on the market, Kyle Tucker. Now, there's obviously a lot of interest in him. You've got the Blue Jays, you've got the Mets, and you've got the LA Dodgers as the front runners, according to Jim Duquette earlier this week. They're the ones that are looking to be kind of the main players in his market, with kind of a crazy number. But the Mets, the home of Juan Soto, are reportedly offering $50 million on a short-term deal, possibly 3 to 4 years, which would make him the third highest AAV in baseball history, behind Shohei and Juan Soto. Is that just a crazy number, or do you think that Tucker is worth that?
It's funny because like the first thing that came to mind is I don't know if you've seen Rush Hour when Chris Tucker is kind of negotiating with the terrorists and stuff like that. And he's like, $50 million? You must be out of your mind. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, it's just an insane, asinine number, $50 million for that long. So I don't know if I see, look, if I was him, I kind of would be tempted to sign it because 50 million over 3 years. I know there's opt-outs and stuff like that, but I see the money right there in front of me. I don't think I'm going to get a bigger long-term deal. I know that's what he's looking for. He wants the security. He doesn't want to like re-enter the free agent market because God forbid something happens, he gets hurt, or he doesn't like meet the production that he's shown to be able to produce in the past previous years. And now you're kind of staring at the barrel like, well, I got my money, but now I'm a free agent again, and like they're offering me like $10 million. Like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Stuff like that. So I don't know. It's kind of like a tale of two things. Do I hold out and wait, and hopefully someone kind of like bluffs basically and like overpays me, and like it's basically what it is at this point, because the Yankees are doing the same with Cody Bellinger as well too. They're kind of telling him like, yeah, bro, we're not interested in you. Like, I know you want that seventh year, but like we're only comfortable with 5 years. Like, we're already negotiating with other people, and it may be true and it may not be true. So you're kind of like you're playing poker at this point. Like, who's gonna blink first? Am I gonna sign your 5 year deal? Am I gonna sign their 3 year deal? Or am I gonna hold out and see if I can get 7 years? It's kind of reached like a stalemate right now at this point, and we're
Right.
just waiting to see who blinks first, whether it's the players and Tucker and Bichette and Bellinger, or whether it's the teams, etc. So we'll see.
Well, the reports for that the Dodgers are just kind of, even though they're looking for the short term deal to offer Tucker, that they're kind of, their selling point is, we're the Dodgers, and there's
Yeah.
the cream of the crop,
By the
and
way, very, very good selling point. That's a very good selling point. We're the Dodgers.
that's all they have to do. And so, do you think at the end of the day, although yes, it's clear he wants length, will the fact that you've got two titles back to back, and a very high probability that there could be a third, could that just overpower all the other deals that are on the table?
See, part of me says yes, but at the same time, he also is a World Series champion. He won one with the Houston Astros as well too. So maybe just titles at this point is kind of just like secondary to him. He kind of just wants to secure that long-term money because this might be his last big major league contract. So it's kind of a tale of two things. Maybe Bichette, a younger player who just reached the pinnacle but came up short, is kind of like, well, I want to go back there and I know I can perform at that big level, and I kind of want a chance to
Mhm.
win one. Is has a different mindset compared to a Cody Bellinger who's kind of reached the pinnacle as well too. He's been an MVP at this level. The same with a Kyle Tucker as well too. I know he's not been an MVP, but he's reached the pinnacle. He's reached the success and stuff like that. And sometimes guys are like, I'm cool. Like I won. I can prove I've won at this stage. Like there's nothing else for me but to like kind of just like sign my big deal, get paid, and like enjoy the game I play, basically.
In a way, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because there was those reports that, I guess it was David Bassett a couple days ago on AM 570, that there was kind of word on the street was that he wasn't looking to be the baseball wasn't his number one priority. I think that's kind of how it was worded, which rubs some fans the wrong way. And there's been back and forth with different beat reporters on, does that kind of mean that he's kind of taken on the Rendon 2.0 vibes, where baseball doesn't really mean that much to him? He's just looking to get paid. Like you say, he's got his ring. Or do you think that's more just kind of like, no, the guy's a great player. He's anything but Anthony Rendon. What did you make of those comments? Do you think there's any smoke to them?
I guess there might be some truth to it, but I think he's still motivated to kind of perform at the big level. Because if he wasn't motivated to play baseball, he would be signing with the team that's below 500 and not in the playoffs. The
Yeah.
teams he's linked to, I know the Mets didn't make the playoffs, but they're, in theory, if their dysfunction doesn't keep them back, they would be a playoff team. He's linked to the Blue Jays, World Series contender. He's linked to us, World Series champion back to back. And he's linked to the Mets. The Mets are a perennial playoff team, quote unquote. I know they have a lot of other stuff going on there, but if he really didn't care about baseball, he would take the money and go play with for the Rockies, basically, and kind of
Mm.
just try to see if he can stat pad numbers in that elevation and stuff like that. So I don't think there's very much credence to it. Maybe
Okay.
there is slightly, like towards the end of a big deal, like if he's in year 5 and 6, like, oh, I'm done. Like I think I've done everything I've done for the game. But like I'm gonna enjoy my last 2 years as a big leaguer and kind of go from there. But I don't know. I don't think he would be like signing with these potential playoff teams and World Series contenders if he was not about being 100% competitive.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it because giving him the benefit of the doubt, which I'm going to do because I tend to think like, people, sometimes things come off a certain way, but it may not be, his actual personality. He's a great player, would be amazing to have on the Dodger team. But what if he's more of like, I'm just not looking to be the star. Doesn't mean he doesn't care. Doesn't mean he doesn't want to, do well for the team that he signs with. But wouldn't the Dodgers then be the team for him to not have to worry about all the pressure of being number one, seen as nobody's going to be number one when you've got Shohei Ohtani on your team, when you've got, a room full of Hall of Famers? Wouldn't this then be the ideal spot for a personality like Kyle Tucker?
It would be in theory, but I think since he is the new guy, I think the pressure would kind of be on to like perform for like the fan base immediately because like you're targeted as the you were our big major league or not major league, our off-season signing. Like we
Yeah.
kind of have expectations for you. Like we need you to come in and kind of play your role, but we also kind of have to prove that you were kind of quote unquote worth the money we gave you, stuff like that. So I think that kind of expectation is something that just comes along whenever you sign with the new team. I think Edwin Diaz is going to have those expectations because people saw him perform for the Mets and were like, well, we saw you do that. Can you do that here? We saw
Mhm.
what happened to the guy before you, Tanner Scott. We signed him from San Diego. We thought we would give him all this money. He'd be able to meet the expectation, and he fell flat. He has a chance to kind of redeem himself this year coming up. So I don't know. It's kind of different pressures. I don't think Kyle Tucker is going to fold under that pressure. He's a very good batter. He also kind of has that experience of playing for Houston, where he had all those guys kind of in front of him, and he kind of came in behind an Altuve,
Yeah.
behind a Correa, behind a Bregman, even behind a Yordan Alvarez, and the pressure wasn't really solely on him. Yeah, he kind of far exceeded it. He kind of became an all-star level player, and he kind of like
Mhm.
showed like, no, I belong to be part of this team. This team is a championship contender, and I'm a very vital piece for it. And he very much was for a lot of the time they were in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I think he's gonna know his role, and I think the role is for him to kind of just do enough to be win a game, basically. Mookie says it best, like you just got to be your best for a game, and like we'll go from there. Don't try to put like the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like there's no need to like worry about October and like April, the first week of April. No, we're just focused on these set of games. Like this week we play the Rockies, and this week we play the Padres. That's our sole focus. Do not focus about like 3 months from now, basically.
Wow. Yeah, and that's a good approach to look at it from. But then if let's say we do get him, let's just play this, fun game. Where would he bat in the lineup? Because you've got, like you say, you just mentioned the lineup of several teams is fantastic, but the Dodgers, you've got yourself a Mookie, you've got yourself a Freddie, you've got a Will Smith, you've got a Teo and a Muncy. Where would he fall in a Dodgers lineup?
See, I would put him at number 5.
Right.
So I would keep. I know they moved Mookie out of that leadoff spot, but new year, new me, all that fun resolution stuff. I put him back on the at the leadoff spot. Or actually, no, my bad. Shohei was the leadoff guy. Then it was Mookie, and then it was Freddie. But yeah, I think I'd put Mookie back number 1. I feel like just start fresh, and then I put Shohei at number 2. Freddie's my number 3. Will Smith, this is the guy that we always forget about. Will Smith, because he's always quiet, just does the right thing, doesn't say anything in the media. He's my number 4 hitter. Kyle
Okay.
Tucker, I would slide underneath right there at number 5.
Wow.
And then it's kind of interesting because I kind of like Teoscar at 6 and I like Muncy at 7 just because Muncy, I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to put him in the 7th spot. But at the same time, the lineup is just so deep that like you're kind of like, well, I mean, like I'm sorry, man. It might just be a matchup thing. Like one day, like I know he doesn't play against lefties, but if he has to, like I'm sorry, man. Like there's no other else to put you. Like we gotta hide you, but we're gonna put you here, and we're gonna put Teoscar in front of you, and we'll put Andy Pajes. Actually, the one person I would have batting ninth consistently would be Andy Pajes until he proves that he's shortened up his approach because some of those at bats in the World Series were god awful. And then it comes down to second base, whether Tommy Edmonds healthy to go,
Okay.
if Kim has an electric spring training and kind of proves that he can like stay up here. The emergence of Kike as well too, kind of like it's a tough thing. I do not envy being Dave Roberts as he kind of pencils in the lineup. And the same thing could be said about the rotation because you got like 5, 6 dudes who should be the number one, and like who's gonna get the first
Yeah.
opening day game, like. You can make the argument for Shohei, he's your guy. I could also give you the argument for Blake Snell. I can give you the argument for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He proved it in the World Series. Like it's kind of a thing where like what do we do? Like that's where I'm at. It's like I don't know. So I just know it's gonna be a fun season. That's basically where it doesn't matter where guys are batting. Like I'm gonna be glued to the TV the entirety of the series.
I mean, no matter who we get, even if we do get a Bichette, a Bellinger, a Tucker, whoever else, even and Ibanez, he's supposed to be really good against left-handed pitching. What is this going to do to are the opposing pitchers on any team? I mean, how do you even navigate a lineup like that without losing your mind?
I don't know. This is how I felt when like we played against the Blue Jays. And like
Mm,
we did the series preview, and I'm like, you cannot like overlook these other guys. Like I know Vladdy's name is there, and I know Bichette's name is there, and Springer's name is there, but like Ernie Clement, really good. Andres Jimenez, really good. Addison Barger, really good. Alejandro Kirk, really good. Like you can't just overlook these guys because you're gonna overlook them. They're gonna be the ones that end up beating you in these games, essentially. So
so true.
I don't know. It's gonna be one of those things where like a pitcher is gonna just have to like have his A+ stuff, and like the Dodgers proved it throughout the regular season as well too. Like if they're not engaged early on in the game, you can get them. Like you can sneak these guys, and before you know it, you might be up like 5-0 on the Dodgers by like the 4th inning, and you'll realize like, damn, like it's already the 5th inning, and like we only got 2 hits, and that's about it. Like what's happening, kind of deal. So like the Dodgers to themselves do themselves a negative by kind of just not being engaged right away from the game, and before you realize it, like the opposing team, Mookie said it best a few years back, like this is their World Series for them. Like the Oakland A's are going to treat this game like a World Series game because you're playing the Dodgers. You see the star power, and they kind of want to prove like, well, I belong on that team as well too, and I can beat you, kind of deal. So I think a lot of the reason they'll end up losing regular season games is because like again they'll just be disengaged, and I don't blame them too. It's a long season. Like if in May, I don't know, I always throw the Rockies in there because I feel like we always lose games to the Rockies just randomly, or like the Pirates as well too. The Pirates just end up being the Dodgers kryptonite. If like we drop a series to the Pirates, it would be I would look back at it and be like, well, they weren't engaged throughout the whole entirety of the series, and before you knew it, they were down big, and they kind of just like punted it essentially, like, well, we're down, and like there's nothing we can do here. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things like they're going to be the reason they lose most of these games just from not being engaged at all.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And those are the ones we're probably going to crash out about when we're doing our post game shows.
Yeah.
What are we doing here, people? But yeah, we're not going to win every game, even though we're going to not understand why we're losing to some of these teams on some nights. But yeah, that kind of wants I want to turn my attention to Bo Bichette because last time we talked, Anthony, we were discussing that he might have been the likely candidate, but like I think within a day or two of our last episode, there was a report that he was seeking 300 million. Now, when I saw that number, I nearly fell off my chair. And in my opinion, is, and I'm going to give him again the benefit of the doubt, was that just more of a negotiating starting point just to kind of see like where he can, what he can possibly get, fully knowing he's not going to get 300 million? Or is that just kind of placing him out of most people's price range? Because we heard, I think today in the last couple of days, the Red Sox are looking at him a little closer, as are the Phillies.
Yeah, well, the Red Sox kind of got snake bit the last time we recorded. They lost Alex Bregman to the Cubs.
Right.
So I know we had the discussion with Cody in the chat, but I felt like if I was the Red Sox, I kind of would have gone all in. And I know it came down to like a no trade clause and stuff like that. I don't think it was a money thing. I think it might have been a little bit of money as well too with Bregman and the Red Sox. But from the perspective of the Red Sox, I look at it as I had both Bregman and Devers, and I traded Devers to accommodate Bregman, and now Bregman's no longer on my team, and I no longer have Devers. So where do I go from here? I would probably panic and try to give Bo Bichette a phone call and ask him like, hey, like, are you interested? Like, yeah, I know you've played in our division. You play for the Blue Jays. I know it might be kind of rough signing in the division. It's kind of one of those things that I think players try to avoid as best as possible, just because you don't want to have to face the backlash of having to go back to Canada and now you're wearing Red Sox gear and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the 300 number was kind of just like an opening, like, okay, in a perfect world, this would be my number, but I'm willing to negotiate to like a certain number as well too. And I think the Bregman deal is kind of a good indicator of what I think I would give Bichette, 175. Maybe I'd go past that to like a
Right.
200 if he kind of like is really pushing for it. But 300, I don't think I would do that. He's a really, really good player. He proved it in the World Series. Was out there basically on one leg. He hit that massive mammoth of a homer game 7 where I thought he essentially won it because he kind of felt like all momentum was going to be on their side. But I don't know. 300 is kind of a steep number for me. Like that Bregman number, 5 year, 175 is kind of a number where like, okay, that's kind of like something I'd be comfortable at. Maybe a little bit higher, 200, kind of that range is where I kind of slot him in.
His defense leaves something to be desired too. And I know he's a great player, but he's not in that range. And I even think in the Tucker and even Bellinger markets, I think that the initial figures for all of them seem to be much higher than what they're probably actually going to get. Save Tucker, who we just don't know what those numbers are ultimately going to be. But yeah, I think you have to go in saying, "Hey, I want this," but fully knowing that it's probably not going to land that way. Granted, some teams underpay players. I know Dodgers are always accused of being, ruining baseball, but in fact, the fact is like we're saving baseball. They're paying what the players they believe that they're worth, but while making smart moves. But in the case of Tucker, Bichette, and Bellinger, being that those are the names we're kind of all circling every day, or what's going to happen with them. Do you think it's going to be them, or do you think it's going to be kind of like a smaller name piece that we're going to get in the next several days?
Man, see, I think Tucker's going to be the first domino to fall. It feels like it's kind of trending in that direction, but I don't think he's going to pick us. I think he's going to go to the long-term deal. And I think that's, at least from what I've been reading, I think that's the Blue Jays who are kind of offering him what he
Okay.
wants specifically. So if I had to pick it, I think he's going there. And I think Bichette is going to end up going to Philadelphia. I think just feel like he's had that in-person meeting. I know Donnie Baseball is there as a coach. He had that good relationship with them, and I feel like it's also it feels like it's a last kind of ditch effort for the Philadelphia Phillies to kind of make a noise. Like their World Series window is kind of feels like it's coming to a close. It's shutting down pretty quickly, and it might be kind of like the little thing they need to kind of get over the hump. The one I'm interested in is Cody Bellinger because apart from the Yankees, you really don't see any other concrete like noise about him kind of surrounding him. And I don't know if it's kind of just him being stubborn, like, yeah, I want that 7 year, I want that 7 year. But like let's say the Yankees, I don't know, just say like, no, we're done, and like they end up signing a few other guys, and it's just like, where does that leave him? Does he come over here and like sign a short-term deal, whatever the Dodgers are offering? Um Tucker and says like, hey, like I know you're offering Tucker this, like is the possibility that I get that as well too? Maybe, maybe not. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see like what happens with him. I do think it's just a negotiating tactic at this point. I think the Yankees are kind of calling his bluff. They kind of know like, well, we're not the only ones. We know we're the only ones kind of bidding for you. Like we're not going to overpay you. We know we're the only ones that want your services kind of deal. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do think Tucker is going to be the first kind of domino that falls within the next few days.
I think so too. And I think that's going to kind of lead to a ripple effect with, Bichette, and we'll see what happens with Cody Bellinger. In the event that we don't get either one of them, then how do we make a pivot to, I guess, a lesser sought after player? Do you think that there's anyone else on the market the Dodgers would turn their attention to?
Anyone else on the market?
Yeah.
Probably not. Again, I think it would be more secondary pieces. I hate to say secondary as well too, but I think it'd be more of a just like, okay, we're gonna give this guy kind of like a 1 year deal, like 5 million, and see like if he has anything left in the tank. I think the X factor is Kike. I think he's going to be the guy kind of plays a lot of outfield next year as well too, kind of just out of necessity. But they're just going to have to wait until he's healthy. And again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I
Mm-hmm.
want to see if these young guys got anything in them. Like you got to figure out if they do anything. Like once upon a time ago, Corey Seager was a prospect. We
It's
brought
true.
him up, and look what ended up happening.
Right.
Once upon a time ago, Jock Peterson was a prospect. I know he's a polarizing prospect in Dodger lore, but we call it Jocktober for a reason. When the lights were
Mhm.
the brightest, he performed. Once
Yeah.
upon a time, Cody Bellinger was a prospect. We brought him up, MVP. I'm not saying all these guys are going to live up to that hype. Yeah, I know there's a few Dodger prospects that didn't pan out. DJ Peters, one of them. Um, what's his name of the Diego Cartaya, another one, just didn't pan out.
Mhm.
Jose de Leon, I thought he was going to be the next big thing with Julio, just didn't pan out. So we all know like these guys are prospects, but like we won't know until they're at the major league level. And I'm kind of interested to see if they reach the major league level. Are they going to be anything, or is it going to be just trade pieces? Like as well, I feel like sometimes the Dodgers bring up these minor league guys as well to kind of just prove to teams like, hey, look, he can play up here, and like, are you interested in him? And like see if they could sweeten in an offer, stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense because we do have some really amazing talent. At the matter of fact, we were voted by MLB execs. I guess it was a poll in the last few days that we have the number one farm system according to the MLB pipeline executive poll. So, I mean, what I love about that is that we're always being accused of buying, not built. Does that shut up the haters, Anthony, or do you think that nothing's going to shut up our haters, no matter how much we prove that we're dominant?
No, this team could be filled of Dodger prospects from the catcher to bullpen guys and stuff like that, and they'll still find a way. Like, oh well, you still paid for so and so and stuff like that. It doesn't at this point. Like, you can write down the list of guys who are like homegrown, quote unquote, but there's also guys that are also uh technically I wouldn't consider homegrown, but they're technically, I feel like they are like guys like Max Muncy. I know he started with the A's, but like he kind of made his name with us. He started in the minor leagues in AAA, worked his way up here, and kind of solidified himself as a starter. Kike Hernandez, I know, started with Houston, then he went to Miami, and then he kind of came and found his role here in LA. So guys like that, it's not like we're buying all the top level guys. I know our team is full with Mookie and with Shohei and with Freddie Freeman, but like a lot of the guys are like kind of just like role players that are on a championship team. Tommy Edman would probably be starting for a lot of other teams, probably be
Mhm.
an all-star, but he's kind of being overshadowed by like all the MVPs that we have in our lineup. The one guy that I think is kind of like broken apart and kind of I feel like I want to add into that group of three and make it a group of four is Will Smith. I think Will Smith kind of has solidified himself as like the
Yeah.
Dodger prospect, the one that at least stayed with us. I used to think it was going to be Corey Seager, but he kind of moved on. I used to think it was going to be Cody Bellinger, but he moved on. But Will Smith kind of has aligned his future at least to the foreseeable. I think the rest of his career as well. I think he's going to be playing here until like his late 30s. I think that's going to be quote unquote the Dodger prospect. And before him, it was Kershaw, but he's no longer with us and he's retired. But I think those were kind of be like the two guys where I'm like, they played their entire career here with us. Like we saw them from like day one, basically. Kershaw's first start, he was out there wearing the number 54, if I remember correctly, and he kind of solidified himself as a Hall of Famer. Will Smith, same thing, made his first start. I saw his first start, saw his first major league hit. I think within a week he had his first walk-off homer as well, too. It's going to be one of the, like those foundation pieces for like the minor leagues prospects we have. Like, will at least for me, at least for this current generation. Will Smith and Clayton Kershaw, and it's like a perfect bookend because he's your pitcher and your catcher. And I feel like Will Smith is kind of working up. I think this year is going to be the year where I kind of just hype up Will Smith because I feel
Mhm.
like he's kind of gonna being pushed aside. The other two catchers in the league as well too. Kirk, I love Alejandro Kirk and I love Cal Raleigh, but I kind of feel like Will Smith gets a little bit slandered a little bit too much just because he's playing for us, basically. I think if he was playing for anyone else, I think they would be having him in like all sorts of conversations. But I do feel like he's a potential future Hall of Famer in the trajectory that he's on right now.
I mean, let's be real. Like, as much as we owe so much to Miguel Rojas, we don't have a title without that Will Smith home run to close it out.
Yeah,
in game 7. So that's clutch right there. So, I mean, I obviously Cal Raleigh is an amazing catcher, but I have to like make the argument that there is just Will Smith is second to none in baseball. So we definitely have to make sure that we give him his flowers throughout the year, because you're going to see some Smith moments in this coming season. But yeah, just to kind of put a nice bow on all of the moves today, the NL West looks to be getting just a bit more interesting. Not with the Padres, which I'm so happy about, because I've heard very little about them, and it's always a good day when there's no Padres news or Padres drama. But looks like Nolan Arenado is going to be moving to Arizona. We got that news today. And in Giants world, it looks like they are having their eyes on a Nico Horner or Brandon Donovan. So that was the other big news. So what do you make of our division starting to make a little bit more noise?
Yeah, I've always said it. I always fear our division before I fear any other teams in any other division. Just because I feel like our division, at least on our side of the bracket, I feel like it's a bloodbath. It's been a bloodbath for like a past couple years, whether it's between us and the Padres, whether it's between us and the Giants, whether it's between us and the Diamondbacks, and even the Rockies. They had their 1 or 2 years there. It feels like, and for as long as we've been making the playoffs, we have played a divisional opponent in the playoffs. Like I just mentioned, the Rockies, we played them in the playoffs. I know it was technically game 163, but hey, win or go home situation. You have to win that game. We played the Diamondbacks. They whooped us, but thanks to them and their whooping they gave us, we got Shohei the next year. So thank you, Arizona. We played the Padres, unfortunately, multiple times. They did get us once, but we've gotten them multiple times as well too, and the Giants as well too. It basically came down to a game 5 do or die situation. So I feel like the division, regardless of if we have all the good players, I feel like they're just going to be chasing us regardless. They're going to keep chasing, 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 chasing until our guys get too old and we just can't keep up with the younger talent that they've accumulated throughout the years, or we replenish with younger guys, like I've been saying about these guys in the minor leagues. If they're quote unquote, if we have the best farm system, let's kind of prove it to them. Like, you guys can try all you want to kind of keep up with us, but like, we got guys waiting down there that are kind of just itching and clawing and waiting for a couple of these guys to kind of retire and kind of move on so they can get everyday playing time. So I'm interested. I love competition, and I hope all these games are competitive, and I hope the Dodgers win all of them.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because there's clearly going to be these nights in 162 games where we have some nail biters, we have some moments where we do walk it off, moments where we fall just a little bit short, and moments where we blow them out and it's just belt to ass all night. What's your preferred type of win? Do you want to see more of the we can just sit back and enjoy, we're winning and we got this game no matter what, when you can see them just go right in? Or do you like to see those close games where we win on a walk-off?
So I'm gonna base it. I love close games against Arizona because I feel like Arizona has a bunch of young talent. I love Corbin Carroll. I love Ketel Marte, even though they were trying to trade him all off season. Kind of like the laid back games are kind of the Rockies. I kind of enjoy the Rocky games because I know we're gonna win this game and it's gonna be over pretty early. I'm gonna enjoy good baseball. Hopefully, Yoshi's out there, he'll go 7. Glasnow's out there, he'll go 6. Blake is out there, he'll go 6, etc., etc. The belt to ass, it's always going to be the Giants and it's always going to be the Padres, just because it's the more fulfilling one. I know the Giants, we play them pretty close. They kind of do the opposite to us over there in San Francisco. They kind of I think the cold weather gets to the boys a little bit and it kind of messes them up. But those are kind of the category where like I love to kind of put the belt to ass to the Giants or the Padres specifically.
Specifically for me, it's more the Padres. Like,
Yeah.
those are the ones I circle on my calendar. Those are the ones I make it a deal, like, or make it a point to go to if I can, and scream a little louder. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, some more fun stuff that I kind of love to think about at this time of year. This is coming up on the point where the guys turn in their walk up songs. And I love the music. I mean, shout out to DJ Severe. For those of you who don't know, he's the DJ of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he keeps that party going from start to finish. And I just love listening to all of the stuff that he does to keep the game just so hype throughout the entire 2.5 hours, 3 hours that you're there. But I just was wondering a couple things. One, do you think Shohei's going to keep his Michael Bublé song? because it's so classic now and associated with him. And then, do you have a favorite walk up that the Dodgers have had, even if it's before the Shohei era or any time where you're like, oh yeah, that song just gets me every time I hear it, or it makes me think back to a just kind of have that nostalgia. Best time.
Yeah, I think Shohei should keep it. I think the story was that his wife was the one who actually ended up picking out his walk-up song, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel like it's kind of iconic. Like I told you, we there's a Universal commercial where it kind of plays it, and I looked up instinctively, thinking like I was like missing a Shohei at bat, but I think it's kind of like meshed with him as well. Like I have a few written down here. Like I loved Adrian Gonzalez's El Mariachi Loco. That was so awesome. That was iconic. Cody Bellinger again, Hotel California. I think it kind of like blended in with him. His MVP years here. It was kind of like a good like, especially with the sunset kind of like hitting at the right time at Dodger Stadium. It was kind of like an iconic song for him.
Okay.
Justin Turner, Turned Down for What? I feel like that's kind of like it was kind of a nice play with the Turned Down for What and his last name Turner, but I felt like he kind of lived up to the moment. I'm gonna give this guy some love. Anthony Banda, Bitty Bitty Bom Bom by Selena. Great, great song. I love it. It kind of matches with him. I feel like it's kind of perfect for him. And Kike usually does bring the heat as well too. La Leche Materna and Voy a Llevarte pa' PR. I feel like are great songs for him. And I feel like Kike always brings the star power and the firepower, regardless of year. I think you could go back a few years back as well. He had a In My Feelings by Drake, where it's like Kiki, do you
Mhm.
love me? And it matched just
Oh
so
yeah,
perfectly as well too. So I feel like Kike is kind of just trying to in a competition with himself to kind of outmatch himself every year at this point, basically.
I love it. And I think that they really kind of know the fan base too, because there's a wide variety of music, but you really know that there are so many people there that are always ready to get up and dance no matter what music is playing. And I think that some of these songs really just kind of fit well with the vibe of Dodger Stadium. Yeah, is there a song though that you would like to hear come out this year that we haven't heard yet that you think maybe not attached to a player yet, but like, oh, this would be a perfect song for Dodger Stadium, a walk up?
So I wrote down a few artists, a song specifically. Actually, I think this came out, I think a week or two after the Dodgers won the World Series, and I think it would have played well. Was
Mhm.
Hollywood by YG and Shoreline Mafia, I think would be a great song. I also think for like daytime, like game day vibes, I because I go to a lot of games in the
Mhm.
daytime, I feel like the vibes are kind of more chill, kind of day game. A lot of people are kind of just there to kind of enjoy a ball game. The Less I Know, the Better by Tame Impala, I think would be a great song to kind of blast in the speakers. I
Mhm.
think at nighttime you kind of need the boost me up, especially during the week. A lot of people are coming off work, kind of like a long day at work, and you kind of just need to pump the energy, kind of wake people up for the game and stuff like that. And a little bit of shout out to Tyler the Creator, one of my favorite artists right now. He has a song out called Ring Ring Ring, and I think would be perfect when you make a call to the bullpen because they do that call to the bullpen kind of deal. I think would be kind of perfect. But
I
well, we'll see. But yeah, I have a lot of artists, a lot of favorite songs. A few specifically that I kind of selfishly would like to hear, but I love like the wide variety. It's not just one specific thing. You hear all sorts of music at Dodger Stadium.
I love it. That's one of my favorite things. And I, especially if we do fight traffic to get to Dodger Stadium, especially after work, and it's kind of just the perfect release. You get your seat, you get your drink, you hear the music, and you just feel all the vibes. I hope that Freddie keeps his song because it's been working pretty well. He has different music, but he tends to go a little ethnic, which I like. I know his son tends to pick his
Yeah.
songs, but hoping that he gets something kind of cool this year, kind of keeps what he has been used to on that track. But a song I would love to hear because I have played it in my car sometimes. It is El Tucanazo by Los Ticanos de Tijuana.
Oh,
Think about
yeah,
how that starts. That is a banger. And I thought, okay, who would that go well with? And you just mentioned Anthony Banda, but he probably will keep his Selena song. And
yeah,
then I thought to myself, I mean, okay, just hear me out. Freddie Freeman with
yeah.
I know
I
that
can
sounds
see
like
it.
it wouldn't work, but it would, right?
Listen, Anthony Banda just has to make Selena his brand. Like, just keep playing the bangers basically at this point. Like, I don't care whether it's all sorts of songs, Como La Flor, all sorts of songs like that.
All of
Just
it.
keep
Go
playing the
all in.
bangers. Just
Lean
keep them coming. What I also thought about right now was like Freddie Freeman, or no, actually, these players like once they're retired, like I don't want to hear their song unless they're at the stadium. Like "We Are Young" by Fun, I do not want to hear it unless Clayton Kershaw is
Yeah.
at the stadium, and like they're showing him on the jumbotron essentially. Like no other player in Dodger Stadium history gets to use that song essentially. Like
Retired.
it's retired basically. You cannot use this song because that's how I associate certain players to this song, stuff like that.
We're gonna have to see how that turns out. But I mean, if any daughters are watching or any people who are associated with walk-up songs, we dropped some good ideas here tonight to kind of go with. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun. The Dodger Stadium vibes are coming soon. And yeah, we're just about to have all of our 162, 81 games at Dodger Stadium. We'll get to see the songs that they chose. But yeah, some really cool things that are going to be coming up. In the coming months. Like we have pitchers and catchers in less than a month, right? And as soon as that comes around, like we said, we probably will see a Kike signing because I think it was pretty much the worst kept secret. It seems like a handshake.
Yeah.
He'll be with us. So for anyone worried about that, I think that we're going to be safe there. And then I think opening week, I think it's the 25th or the 26th. That's going to be our first games. Ring ceremony probably being on the second night, but we'll kind of get word on all of that very soon. So it's getting real, folks. But
Yeah, it's getting there. I know the song "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year" is specifically for Christmas time, but I feel like at the start of baseball time is the perfect time to use it as well too.
That is so true. This is the most wonderful time. I can feel it in the air. So yeah, with that, those are the end of my notes. Anthony, do you have any final thoughts for our show?
Any final thoughts? This was fun as always, but I feel like it's time that we start reporting to pitchers and catchers. I know we're still like 40 days out, but I'm getting a little bit anxious now, kind of just like counting down the days, counting down the days. I know a lot of people hate counting down days, but I enjoy it this time of year because it's the best time of the year, like I just said.
It is the best time of the year. So yeah, definitely check out something really cool. Producer Roger and DodgersBeat.com. If you have subscribed to our Instagram or social media, there's been really cool daily drops where I've learned this day in Dodger history, some really great things that we have seen recently from just the Vin Scully Hall of Fame. One thing, I don't know if you knew, Anthony, about, Walter O'Malley, and I didn't know he had planned on doing an NFL stadium by Dodger Stadium, which would have changed
No, I didn't
everything.
know
You
that.
Steelers fan, right?
Yeah. I always say like if there was a team here during my youth, I probably would have ended up rooting for them because all my teams are LA based apart from the Steelers. I always
Mhm.
say my first football team was USC football because of Pete Carroll, Matt Leinart, and Reggie Bush. Basically, that's all I watched. That's all the football I watched until sixth grade when I picked the Steelers.
Well, I mean, you have a few weeks where you don't have to root for the Steelers, and
Yeah.
possibly you can join me with the Rams.
Oddly enough, I was a Rams fan for the
Okay.
year they won the Super Bowl because they played the Bengals, and again, divisional opponent. I did not want to see the Cincinnati Bengals win a Super Bowl, so I was a Bengals fan then, or not a Bengals fan then. Do not use that. I was a Rams fan then. Yeah, it was a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, they're in a division similar to the Dodgers, where I don't even know how we're gonna get out of this knockdown drag out in the next few weeks. So we'll see. But I'm very excited to see NFL wrap up as much as I love it, because, like you said at the top of the show and last week, that means that we are knocking on baseball's door. So very cool stuff. And then one last piece of news: Justin Dean, our hero. Justin Dean did get picked up. Today he was DFA'd by the Giants, and I believe that he is now going to, let me see if I get this right. Did you catch? I think he's on the Cubs now. So he's going to
Oh,
get
nice.
that's very recent news right before we went on the show. So he's going to get to join their organization. So best of luck to him. Oh, and then Joe Kelly, friend of the Garden Asada, is now going to hang it up after
He's
13
retired.
seasons.
Yeah,
So
even though he didn't say he doesn't like retiring, he's officially quote unquote retired.
and he has a Porsche from Shohei to enjoy, and these memories.
Uh,
But you're once a Dodger, always a Dodger, unless you're Manny Machado. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. Make sure that you check out DodgersBeat.com. As you know, Cody and Vince, they have Talking Blue on Thursday night, so make sure to check that out. I do think that there's going to be some news in the coming days, so if there's ever anything that happens, we'll hop back on. But please keep an eye on the Bleed Loves Podcast Network on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. We, again, appreciate all of the support. Check out our handles. You can find me, Drea, on X and Instagram at Ravine Queen 1958. You can check out Anthony on Instagram and X at Anthony Acosta _. And until the next big thing happens, let's go Dodgers.